Of our seminar series, and today we are having a presentation on what I do as a researcher. And I'm happy to announce to you that our guests are right on seat. Let me use the word on seat because they are on seat with us here today. I've known them for more than 2 years each, at least 2 years each, and they are very wonderful people. So we have in our Mrs. Ayomide Olawoyin. As at this time last year, she was something differently, but and we have Mr. Temsola Oyelakin, though I call him Mr. Emmanuel, but I think he prefers Temsola. So you are welcome, our guests. You are welcome, our presenters, and I believe that we're going to have a very exciting interaction today. So before we proceed, let me quickly tell you about our presenters. Let me just read their profiles to you shortly. So today we are hosting Mrs. Ayomide Olawoyin. Is a dedicated researcher and emerging data analyst with a strong background in qualitative and quantitative analysis. With a passion for social issues, Ayomide has conducted research on several issues, social issues from violence, family planning, suicide, and lots more. In addition, Ayomide has actively contributed to mental health awareness in Nigeria through research. Transitioning from a primarily qualitative research background, Ayomide recently pursued training in Sabi programmers, gained expertise in Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Python. This upskilling reflects a commitment to leveraging data science for social impact, particularly in population data analysis. Currently, Ayomide is volunteering with the research school while continuing to explore opportunities in research and data analytics. Let us give a round of applause to Mrs. Ayomide Olawoyin. While I introduce our second speaker, Mr. Temsola Oyelakin. Temsola is a passionate social and health researcher, M&E specialist, data analyst with expertise in leveraging tools like Stata, SPSX, Excel, and Atlas T to generate actionable insights from complex data. The strong quantitative and qualitative analysis background, he has successfully influenced planning, policy implementation, and project outcomes. Dedicated to improving health and social systems, particularly for vulnerable positions, Temsola bridges research and practice to foster sustainable change. His effective communication, results-oriented mindset, and collaborative approach ensure impactful contributions to every project he undertakes. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome on stage our two presenters, Mr. Mrs. Ayomide Olawoyin and Mr. Temsola Oyelakin. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. You can show us your beautiful and handsome faces so that we can see the glory of God and celebrate with you. Thank you very much for joining our meeting today. So, can we hear from you, sir? Just a word of greeting, then we'll proceed.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. All right. So, please, as we start our discussion, which is not going to be very long, I'd like you to tell us your research journey, your journey to the field of data analysis and research. You can also include why you chose to follow this career path. Mrs. Ayomide, you can start, please.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I would say my research journey started as an undergraduate. So I finished from the Department of Demography and Social Statistics, and literally what we do is we do analysis. We are concerned about the social problems. So I would say it all started in my year two. I started working with senior colleagues. And I would say at first, I started because research was like, I was making money from research as an undergraduate. But then later, I think in my part four, I actually got in when it was time for my undergraduate project. That's all the project to write in part four. And I was looking for my project topic. At that period in Nigeria, we had a lot of issues with rape, abuse, and I was just so concerned that while all of these things going on, why do we have started browsing, and it was then I actually fell in love with research, because I come to the understanding that majority of the issues we have in the world, we have a lot of answers to it in research. So if we could do more research, those would help us to to actually solve majority of this problem. So I'll say it started from undergraduate. Then I came back for then when I went for my service year, so I served in the east. So some things happened with the villagers. I actually got interested. I also worked with them to see how we can, bring solutions to the problem they had at that time. Then came back for my master's, and I'll just say since my part four, I've really loved research because I no longer see research as a means to make money, but it now became passion. I now started seeing, I went to the field, I started seeing people go through life. And the researcher in me just wants to ask them what they are what is happening, how can we help them, questions to ask. So I'll say research now is something like it's like passion. Even sometimes I don't do it like research which I'm going to the field. Even in my surroundings, when I actually notice that there's a particular problem, I'm quick to want to ask, move around, ask people, okay, what's up? Why is this? Why are these things happening? To see how I can actually help in my little way to bring solution to the problem. So I think I'll stop for now. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. That's very insightful. So you've told us your journey to research and why you found yourself in this field. Let us hear from Mr. Oyelakin, sir. So please, sir, tell us about your journey in the field of research, and you can also tell us why you followed this career path. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
for the privilege and the platform through Project Partner Data Solution. So, I will just briefly mention how I started my journey as a researcher. Actually, right from time I've been a lover of figures, and I love mathematics a lot, and I teach it with passion too. So, and along the line, I got admission into demography, and then I began to see how figures matter. How you see people mentioning, okay, over this billion is affected with this, millions of people affected with that, and the likes. So I got interested in those figures, trying to envisage, to explore why some of those things come into place. And coming into my first experience in the field of research was my BS project then. Okay, no, that was before then. I'd had the opportunity of learning on data analysis. That's maybe at 300 level, if I'm right, around 2017 or so. So I got an opportunity to be part of a training, and it began to make sense to me how one can actually explore research and especially bringing in those figures to make insightful decisions. So I tried to improve myself. I watched videos, I read books. I also volunteer for roles. If I see opportunities just to improve my skill, I do it with passion. So my part three also gave me a kind of insight where I participated, okay, to see how is this thing really done. I joined the team. Oh, let's know how we design instruments. Okay, let's know how we do analysis. Let's know how we do this and that. Though during that period too, I came across with the qualitative analysis and I got interested in that one because I began to see not just numbers speaking now, people's opinion really matter. And it's broadened my interest in that field. So coming back to after graduation, I had the opportunity of participating in a written survey that was in Lagos. It really gave me more clearer practical terms aside from the one my part three level gave me, and then I begin to explore. So as someone who is interested in ensuring that figures are not just counting, they have meanings to what we do. I find that passion, I directed it towards what I've been interested in, which is in the area of health. Yes, I've been interested in the area of maternal health, child health, sexual reproductive health, and like that, and things that revolve around the health. So, and so far, I've been trying to see as much as possible opportunities I find to bring that into shape. So, thank you very much. Let me just stop here for now.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So, in your presentation now, you've told us why you had the passion for research because of your love for mathematics and your natural curiosity, and how it has transitioned to your journey as a researcher. So, I want to just talk. What has it been like on this journey for you, sir?
Hmm. What it has been like, where it's a, will I say it's an unending journey kind of. It's something that one has to keep learning if you still really want to. It keeps me on my toe, kind of. Let me put it that way. I will always want to learn new things, or possibly I have opportunity of meeting up or reaching out to achieve another assignment or task, or maybe carry out an analysis or conduct a research. I begin to wonder, how do I do it in the best way? How do I actually go on it? So it has actually been keeping me on my toes to learn more. And that's what I can say. Yes, thank you.
All right, let me just ask. So, can you tell us one high point in your journey as a data analyst and a researcher?
High point. Sorry, I didn't get that. What do you mean
So,
by
when
high
you say
point?
high point to be like one very memorable experience that was like one of the most successful experiences you've ever had that you just cannot forget.
Okay. Yes, there was this task in 2023, if I'm right. Yes, 2023. I was contacted because I also engage in what's it called, research consultancy for people. So I got this task to do. Actually, the study was on high risk fertility. It was on fertility, high risk fertility, and I needed to, because that was my first time doing that kind of exploring that kind of study in terms of preparing relevant solutions. And some of those who actually were involved in the study were people who, I would say, they are guys. Yes, they had the taste. They had the things they needed that they were expecting from me and what it should be like. So I took my time trying to rack my brain around. I took time to watch videos. I took time to read. I took time to actually um, see how I can actually give what they desire. And at a point, I I got fed up because it started in 2023. Yes, and it could not end. That was around September also, and it couldn't. I was unable to achieve the major goal until, will I say, January 2024. Yes, because of the tax demanded. Um, there are times I would have to run some analysis, and then it takes me days even for me to see results. And I had to leave my laptop down sometimes, just allow it to run the results. Sometimes I would just have to stop the processing because it's taking more than expected time. So in the long run, I was able to meet a mentor who, after several times of contacting, he was not really coming forward to profile solutions, or he just told me, oh, go and watch videos. I watched videos, I did many of the readings. I'm not getting these results. What do I do next? So I had to go back to him again after a while. It's now becoming long expected. I also consulted some other people, but at that point I just had go back to him that he would later provide a solution. In the long run, he gave me, okay, this is the guy, this is what you should do, and this and that. I was actually happy that I actually was able to crack some nuts during those periods, because there were many of the things that I did that I had not been doing previously, and successfully I was able to deliver the quality job they wanted, even to the extent that they were even trying to push it further for an advance for publication. Let me put it that way. Yes. So that's one thing I've been able to
Wow,
do.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Mrs. Ayomide, Kanya, it's over to you. What has the journey been like for you as a data analyst?
Okay, so as a data analyst, it's been fun, interesting, sometimes difficult, stressful. And the reason is because the line of data analysis I chose, like I said, I already see it as passion, and I'm really into the family context. So I look more into violence, abuse, and all of those things. So there, and most times I prefer to go to the field because it exposes me to people. I get to listen to what people are going through. I get to, I just want to, okay, listen to them and see how I can, work with organizations to actually bring solutions to them. So I would say that I'm still in it, but like I said, it's been educative. Sometimes when I go to the field and especially when I go to villages and I meet with people and we are discussing and I'm exposed to new knowledge, and I just feel like, wow, there is more to where I am staying. There is more to what we see in the city. So that's what I would say concerning my journey so far.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us a high point in your journey as a data analyst and a researcher? One of the high points.
Okay, so I would say last year, like I said, I don't know why, but I just love to work on family issues. I don't know why. I just fall in love with because at some point when I sat down and I actually looked into the problem in the society, then I came to a conclusion that the for us to have a better society, we need to have a better family. So that in a way that really took me off being a data analyst in code to I won't call myself a policy maker because one person is not a policy maker, but somebody that likes to implement solutions, try to bring in the policy makers that we have. So I think last year while I was okay, my MSc project was on violence against men, and during my research, I met a man that spoke, and actually found out that he was having issues in his home. So he reached out to me, poured out his mind, and I was fortunate. She said several. I looked at her, I was like, I'm doing my research, what is deep, and the woman kept calling. Oh, this is what is, and I just told her that okay, I have to bring in people who are more experienced than I am, and what we can do as social researchers, looking at previous experiences, families that had experienced that. It was quite difficult because I would not even like at some point I wanted to run away from the woman because it was as if I was absorbing being careful of my mindset towards, your husband and all of those things. But then I just asked myself again, this is what you love to do. This is what you want to do. And prior to this time, I have worked with on data violence, and I've analyzed people suffer. Like there's some, especially for qualitative analysis, I'm on my system and I'm analyzing a particular transcript, and it's looking so real, and I can feel the pain, I can feel what they're actually going through. So when she reached out to me, I had to, like I said, I involved some other organizations, people that could actually help. At some point, making headway, and she called me that okay, she's thinking of leaving the marriage, this, that. Then I would know, I would just each time I would go to her, I would interview her. Okay, so what happened? What were you able to do? Now, like I said, the husband spoke to me. I was able to speak with the wife. So the information I was able to get from the both of them actually helps coming up with the solution. So when I meet with her, I would by the grace of God, I think we spoke. I think yeah, last month, that's January, and I would say that they are fine. And it's really one of the it's really a high point for me because most majority of the research that I've actually had to handle like that, I don't really I get involved, but then like once I bring in the organizations, they do what they can do, and then everybody leaves. But the fact that they kept calling me just to see how far the solution we were providing was able to help the family. And I suppose I was like, this, this, this is looking like something that would not end. So, she calling me and informing me that okay, they are fine, based on the data we're able to collect and the recommendations that we made. So I would say that I I felt like wow. So me being involved in that process is actually a big deal to me. So I would say that's something
All
I
right.
can.
Thank you very much. So I think I want us to talk to something. If you have questions, I'll be allowing you to talk after this. So what do you normally do as a researcher? So, Ms. Samide, the
Oh,
question is for you. What do you
okay.
normally do as a
So
researcher?
okay, so it's so sometimes I I go to the field. I work as a research assistant. Like I said, I love going to the field, especially if it's a qualitative study and if it actually deals with what I am into, family planning and things around emotions. I like to go to the field, and sometimes as a researcher, I also do some analysis, like quantitative analysis, majorly, yeah, primary data collected by other persons, and they reach out to me. Then I also manage projects. Yeah, I also manage projects. So I'm with my system and just managing projects across the country and sometimes I also, as a researcher, I also help in implementing policy that has been made based on the research. So that's what
All
I do.
right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Emmanuel. What do you do as a researcher, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for the privilege once again. I believe you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Right, thank you very much. So, what I do, I at first understand what's the how the chain of research is. It starts from the aspect of brainstorming, that's having to develop something that can actually be worked on. Then understanding how well you can achieve what you have in mind of working on. Then presenting what you found in the field. So these areas are things I work on. I involve in starting research from the scratch to also ensure that something meaningful is being drafted. Then I prefer advice and solutions to designing a very good methodology, because I've come to understand that how you do your research or how you collect your data really can sell your research to any extent. So I try as much as possible, even when I want to put forth any study. The first thing I need to think about is, okay, if this is the idea I want to work on, is there a method to go about it that will make it achievable? There are ideas sometimes that I come up with and then I can't just forge ahead with it because the methodology might not be realistic, possibly because of the way I was thinking about it. That takes me some time to go and read. So I involve in building from the scratch. That's the draft. I involve in method design, research design, the methodology, instrument design. Then I involve in capacity building to ensure data quality. Yes, to not just to have people go to field and just bring in what they wish. I try as much as possible to train also on what to be done in the field. So alongside I involve in playing with the data. Now that the data is here, I do more of analysis. I try as much as possible to explore what are the possible things we can actually get from this. What are the things we can actually bring out that can sell or that can provide more solution to what we are having now. Sometimes it might not really be able to go out than where you know, but in a way, it informs your own way of thinking too. Or possibly you've heard of this, oh, this is what or this has been the major observation concerning an issue. It gives you an insight to, okay, even if you want to come up with an idea in the next time, you already have a basis for bringing up. So I involve in data analysis, and also I one of the things I also I'm trying to build up now is the aspect of implementation, reaching out to or being privileged to actually reach out to stakeholders that can help ensure that the things you have been doing don't just end in the book. And that is why I also engage in peer reviewed publications. Yes, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Our audience, you have heard them talk. Who has a question for our guests, please? For us, the last round of questions, and we call it a day for today. Anybody has a question for our guests? Okay, I see one hand. Please, any other person, so that we'll take it together. Mr. Joseph, please proceed with your question.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to our panelists for coming to share their wealth of experience with us. So, one thing stood out from what they said. They had passion, they got opportunity to put their passion on display. But it's not really, for me, from my experience, I don't think it's really that easy to get opportunities. So I just want to ask, what will you advise a young graduate, a professional who is someone who is trying to switch into data analysis? What will you advise them, even though they have the passion, they are really interested in data analysis, but they need someone who trusts in them, someone who is ready to support them. How will you advise them? What will you advise them to do moving forward? Because they might not have the kind of opportunity you had, in that you saw places where you can put it to use. A lot of time people ask for experiences. You need to have known this, you need to have known that. What are the things you think people should know that will give them that leverage, so that when they knock on doors, even to volunteer, those doors will be open to them? Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Your question has already tackled the last question I was going to ask about what would you advise anyone starting on in this journey. So let's start from Mr. Emmanuel, then we'll take Mrs. Ayomide. Please help us respond to the question. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat or you can raise your hand. Omalade Leah, and your question is acknowledged to be attended to. Mr. Emmanuel, please help us answer Mr. Joseph's question, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So I don't think I have much answer, but let me just answer in this to the best of my knowledge. The first thing I think you need to know, most of the time when I see people come to me to say, I want to learn data analysis, I'll first have to sit them down and ask you why. Why are you coming? Is it because they said data analysis is thriving at this end? That's why you're coming. If that is, you're going to rethink. I'm not after your money, I'm not after what you want. Yes, it's good to learn it, but you need to really know why. because it is the why that will keep you going, because you will definitely face a lot of challenge on this field. That's first thing. You need to be convinced of why you are coming into this field. Then number two, where exactly do you actually have interest in? You cannot learn the whole of data analysis. The sciences have their own tools, the arts have their own tools. So it does not really mean until you come and sit down with health data or DHS or mixed data or malaria data, and then that's where because you want to make some graphs and plots, some charts. That's why you need to know where. Now, for everywhere you go to, there is a ladder that ascends those parts. Okay, you want to work in the health sector, for instance. You know the big companies that reign when it comes to the health sector. One of the things you need to do is to follow them, master what do they look out for whenever they are putting out their job application. You see some skills they are mentioning, but you don't have it. It's a pointer to you that if you really want to make it to this kind of organization, you need this kind of skill. Why don't you just go ahead and find time to learn that skill? Another thing is, aside from now that you know, okay, I'm going into the agric field, I'm going to the agric space. Excuse me, I need to have this skill. Okay, this is what
Please
this
don't
is
worry,
what
continue, sir.
this is what they require in this field. You don't need to go every other person's field. Just master what um what that field requires. Alongside, it's not always the case that the skill or the experiences that are being looked out for are not things you have worked on before. There are times that what they are actually reaching out for is something you are able to do. Why don't you look inward sometimes and craft something unique out of what you have? You've served as a research as what's it called? You've served as a researcher, or maybe in some at some capacity, even no matter how low they can be. There's a way you can put them into writing to suit whatsoever opportunity you are looking for. And also try as much as possible to connect. The job you need is actually with someone else. But if you are not in contact with that person, you might end up not getting it. So it's also very okay to actually reach out, learn to, and that's why I do advise people. LinkedIn is a good platform. Yes, some people say, oh, there are people who lie on LinkedIn. That's not my concern. My interest is that are there people who are really doing what they say they are doing? Can I learn from them? Yes, if that is it, then you also can model yourself to see, okay, this is how I can also put myself. There are little things you do sometimes you can just choose to put on LinkedIn. It's an indication, not to show that you are proud or you are on top of the world. No, it's just an indication that you also are not you are taking out time to learn, to improve your skill as time goes by. You earn a certificate. It's an opportunity to just show that, oh, I've learned this and this. These are some of the things people see sometimes, and then they'll note, oh, this person is actually in line with this. I've been in interviews that just maybe few minutes after, or maybe while even interview, I got notification from LinkedIn that so person is viewing my profile. And I later discovered that it's still my interviewer that was viewing my profile. If I had not set up something okay, they might be doubting what I've been saying. That's one thing. So I feel those are guides that can actually help us. So especially in the area of skill too, you can't learn everything. Please choose the ones you want to learn and be sure you are qualified to it. They will ask you questions sometimes on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you know how to use this? And then you are like, oh, 3, 4. That means you've not mastered it. Why? Because you want to learn Python, you want to learn Java, you want to learn this one, you want to learn this one. I do tell people this. I don't really want to go into everything, but I want a situation whereby when they are thinking about this particular field, they should be able to call my name. Oh, is it this area? Forget it. I have someone there. And that is actually what I feel should guide our path. So I think I have to stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That's amazing. We have quite a number of questions here, and we are running out of time. So I'm not sure I'll be able to take all of them, but I acknowledge these questions. Mrs. Ayomide, I want you to help us respond to this question. Somebody says, how do we get opportunities for internship as researchers? Mrs. Ayomide, please help us respond to that question.
Yeah, I think what Mr. Emmanuel said has actually answered that. And now I would like to share my experience. It's not just a new graduate. You know, last year I had to relocate to where I am currently. And so when I got here and I was trying to look for what to do and to continue my work as a data analyst. I wanted to go back to a 9 to 5. I just wanted to go out and a lot of those things. But it was quite difficult because of the location that I am staying now. So I just told myself, okay, I needed to upgrade my skills. So I registered in a school for about 3 months. So I learned Python, Excel, and other software. And so after the the training, so people were asking a lot of questions. So how do you make money from this and that? And I finished. I finished last year December, and I would not say it has been easy, even to get to get a job in the new skill I have learned. So, but one thing that, like I said, Mr. Emmanuel already answered is, like you said, he spoke about LinkedIn. He spoke about connection. So those are two things we can do. And if you're looking for intern, for example, now I'm currently volunteering where I learned. Now I'm not even working as a data analyst now. I volunteered to teach the new set because I believe that the 3 months did not do justice because it was like learning about four tools in 3 months, and I know the way I learn. So a lot of people felt they know it already. I don't have to compare myself with them. So I just told the organization that can I just volunteer in the organization? So what I will just do is I will attend classes, now to assist the tutor. So that way I am improving myself. I get to learn more. And so one other thing I'm also working on to get internship is to use social media, likes of I use Twitter and LinkedIn, like Mr. Emmanuel said. And one thing also is that I also found out is that when you want to apply for internship, some organizations require that you have a bit of knowledge, not necessarily you don't have any knowledge at all. Because one thing I find, I know most people they are eager to want to make the money, and you just finish learning it so that you've not even, like you said, you've not even you are not able to use it very well, and you might be lucky to actually get an organization. But why not learn that skill to maybe intermediate level, such that when you apply for an internship and they interview, you have something to say. So for me, I think I just posted in on LinkedIn that okay, I finished the training, but I've not really started posting all of those things because I feel that I need to know better, because majority of people I follow on LinkedIn and Twitter, and when they talk about their experiences, some people will talk about the questions they ask them during the interview. Well, I try to look at the question. Can I actually answer this? So when I say that okay, I'm unable to answer this, then I will have to go over it again. So getting an internship is build up your skill to a level that that okay, at the intermediate level you can answer some questions. Then keep applying. And one thing I also learned is that you can just I think I'll use the word volunteering, because uh when you volunteer, it gives you more opportunity, and you can just look for you can look for so I think there was this thing I participated last year in December. So what I just did was that it was an international organization, so they were having something like a competition based on this one of this tool I have learned. So I joined the competition, but I did not join it to win the competition. I just joined. So there are times that the daily task I'm unable to meet up, but I just make sure that I sit down with my like there are days that day 9 I'm answering the question on day 13. there were people that were there just to compete and make money, but I knew that I've not gotten to that stage. So after the, when we're done with the competition, they sent letters to us and all of those things. So you can look for international organizations if you think they make use of the tools that your skill, just try and write to them. Okay, you like to volunteer with them, or if there is an internship position, just keep applying. Really. And another thing is that, yeah, social media is good. You can also make use of um interaction with people. For example, I'll say Mr. Ido is one of those that really made my data analysis journey very easy. I remember when I came back from for my master's, I had walked up saying that, sir, I really want to start a career in data analysis. And at that point, I think I just knew how to use, was it not, I was just like SPSS, but not like, I was not very, very good, and just little analysis here and there. So when I spoke to him and he said, okay, I should come on board, and I was able to, and that's why I started, and here I am. So we can also make use of, when you know people who are in that line of what you're doing, you can reach out to them also. Tell them, this is what I am doing, this is what I have learned. Then they would also put you through that route on how to actually get the intention. And also sometimes when you collaborate with them, maybe you work on a project with them. I also do that. Maybe somebody that is fired of me is working on a project, I'll just tell them, oh, sir, I am available, I can do this. So when I work with them, so it's easy for them to recommend me when next there's a position or a vacancy based on what I do. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We have a number of these questions here, but let me just, so Mr. Gideon is saying, for someone who has some level of experience, what we want, but we want to improve themselves through mentoring others. How can one go about getting an audience to mentor? Mr. Amide?
Um, I would say you can look for someone who is interested in that path and you work with them. So we have so many of us on this call that you can look for someone that is interested. Let's say, for example, you are good with a questionnaire design and you want to improve, you can actually look for someone who is also willing to learn and teach them. So that way you learn better. And I also noticed that there are sometimes also online that people just, there are all these how would I call them? They just post that, okay, they call it challenge on this, on that, challenge on maybe writing, challenge on using SPSS. And you can also join a community. I think we have that where I am now. So there's a community where you design your own work, what you're doing, you upload it, then others will speak about it. So that way, then you also learn. So I think those are the ways that I think I can think of now.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Emmanuel, please, I'd like you to respond to this question. Looking for employment or going into consultancy, which would you recommend? Then, which basic tools would you recommend for a newbie? And how does a typical day look like as a data analyst? Well, those are three questions. First of all, looking for employment or going to consultancy, which would you recommend, Mr. Emmanuel? Mr. Oyelakin, sorry, Katem Oyelakin.
All right, thank you very much. So, my first question to this person is, how do you gain the level of experience you want to say you have as a consultant? Consultancy to me does not just come, it does not just jump on you. It comes after there has been a kind of proficiency. And one of the ways to master or to be proficient in a skill is to have a role you are currently on. You'll be surprised that there are roles you'll be on, and then you can also be a consultant on another project while you are still employed in a particular place. It happens. So the idea is not to say you are leaving one for the other, because you'll be surprised that the capacity or the opportunity you build and the networking you build while getting a role. When I mean a role in the context of you get employed, that's what I mean. So when you have that capacity on the job, It gives you strength and gives you a kind of leverage to actually participate in consultancy. And consultancy does not really mean until you are working for WHO and the like. They lead to that people come around to ask you questions on. It's a way of consultancy. So it's just going to be improving as time goes on. Oh, someone needs help on this field. Oh, I don't know how to design my instrument. That's consultancy. They came to you and they're able to ask you, oh, can you help me out with this? Do you know that by the time you give answers to those questions, even when they don't get you paid, you yourself have some insights. When such a question is coming another time, you can provide more solution as a pro, because you've had an opportunity to actually intervene in a similar issue. So that's one thing we need to also understand, that it's not, to me, I would not say you should drop one pursuing another. Any of it that comes, bring it up and know that they are all building your skill for that phase. And at this phase, to be candid, to be sincere, there are some consultancy roles that might not get to you because of some level of experience you have not acquired, which you cannot acquire independently. Nobody can come and see you and say, I'm giving you a USAID contract. If you have not been under an organization to work on projects, you might not be able to say, oh, I've worked with this kind of funding before. We have coordinated this kind of project before. So most of the time, it's better you have a kind of umbrella, in quotes, that can help you as a leverage for consultancy roles. So thank you very much.
Okay, sir. He's also asking what basic tools you recommend for a newbie and how does your typical day look like as a data analyst?
Typical day. Okay, let me answer the newbie first. I think I will have to go back to what I've said. The newbie, what's he aiming at? What's your passion? What's your interest? Are you interested in the economic aspect? Are you interested in the agric? You need to know where you actually find yourself well. To me, I wouldn't say just begin to learn SPSS and then your passion is in agric and what they need is SAS, or what they need is just Excel. You need to first know what gets people to the top in your field of interest. Then locate the milestones, what they do, what they earn, especially just go randomly and check out for adverts of opportunities that you wish you will also be called for, you also like to gain, or roles you would like to work on. Look at the key skills. You will see some skills, they will call them added advantage. You see some skills, they will call them required. There are essential ones, there are required ones, there are some that are just added advantage. So you need to master which one should I give priority. And when you are mastering, please master well. And like
Oh,
Mr. Ayomide mentioned, the aspect of volunteering. To me, there are communities outside that do that. But alongside, there are times also you can just you don't really need 100 of people or 50 of people to do. You project partner is an where you can volunteer. I think I also know of some other ones. But there was one I joined recently. It's just people who really love people who want to give back to their community. So all you need to do is you can just check out organizations that maybe do capacity building or trainings for students, or even yourself, you can start one. Yes, it might not really be onto your platform, because what you need sometimes might just be a push. Once you can get a school for approval, I would like to teach your students, they will be glad to do that. All they need is just to have computers and a means of facilitating them. And before you know it, you gradually go online, then you are coming up. So I think that can help us. So the last thing, how is my day typically? Well, my day is always good by God's grace. But the main thing is that when you don't set your day well, you don't end it well most of the time. So you need to prioritize. Just like Friday, I was thinking about the book Eat the Frog. Is it Eat That Frog now? And then I was just trying to remember one of the things I noted in the book, that if you have two frogs to eat, one is rough and then big and then it's not that smooth, and there's another one that is cool and then appearing better. It's better you eat the big tax first. Eat those major ones while the day is fresh. Eat it first, and also have this habit of tomorrow has a better opportunity. when you don't, when you have the habit that, oh, I'm going to finish it tomorrow, I do tell myself tomorrow has something better. Because if I leave the task of today to tomorrow and another one is coming tomorrow, it gives me a lot to do tomorrow. So why don't I make sure I finish the task for the day as I have planned? Except if I know this task will take me a couple of days. So it used to be tasking, it used to be demanding, but alongside it can be interesting. So that's the summary of how a typical data analysis day can be. Thank
Thank you, sir. We have already overshot our time. Sorry, other questionnaires. We are not able to respond to this, but probably I'll try and see if we can get the response to your questions and post in the WhatsApp group. Mr. Manuel, what is the future looking like in the field of data analysis and research? This is the last question. And any final words for us?
you. The field of data analysis, you would definitely see that there's a transition. People are not, or the world is no longer interested in having been caged by a kind of instrument or a kind of method of doing things. Everyone now wants to build their method to achieve their goal. And I think that is what programming is trying to achieve. So it's more of now being able to bring, knowing what you want to do, and then designing a system that can help you achieve what you want to do. So I see that as one of the things that is in place. And that is why, as much as we want to learn data analysis, we need to also be current with what is in vogue. When I mean in vogue, what will actually help us achieve and also be in the market in years to come. So you see, it's now going more of, no, majority are not doing much of point and click again. They're not doing much of tabbing this and then bringing this. Then one of the things that will sell you as a data analyst is your critical thinking skill, ability to think through, think thoroughly on issues, to profile realistic solutions. That is something AI cannot do. It can only give suggestion. It can't bring the reality when it comes to you having an applied knowledge of what. Yes, they can say, okay, can you, what do you think we do? No. And some of these things come up through experience and ability to gain insight and master your data, master your information. And also being current will be a good way of becoming a data analyst, so that you can also know what are the things that would make you match up to the global standard. So I think I've been able to answer that. I don't know if that's sufficient.
Yes, so what will be your final word for us today, sir?
Okay. So I would say that the journey does not start big. It starts small. All you need to do is to be consistent and ensure that you have a trademark with anybody you come across with. That would be the reference point for you wherever you be sometimes. And also your altitude, I mean how far you go in life, is determined more by the width of your connection, the width of your relationship with people. So make sure you are living with them that trademark that they can always fall back to. If I ask you now, if I need a soup of egusi, who can you recommend to give me the order? What comes to your mind? Who comes to your mind? That means such a person has created a trademark in your mind. If I need a data analyst, who comes to your mind first? That means such a person has a trademark, there's an imprint. Let me put it that way. So ensure that as many people you will relate to, you find out. There are times the works you will do with people will not give you expected return. I saw someone mentioning that we didn't talk about the money. Yes, obviously the money can be a challenge if care is not taken, and it can blindfold. Sincerely, you need to get the money. But that is why I always suggest that when you own the skill, when you call the price, it will not be difficult for them to pay for your skill. It is when you are not sure and they are asking you questions, you yourself you have not, you don't master your what's it called? Well, you find it difficult to post something high because they will begin to wonder that it seems this one does not understand what is this. Imagine a work of 600,000. You are saying, oh yeah, 100,000. Look, bring 100,000. This one does not really understand what is field. So master your field. Get you don't need to get a project on hand before you can know, oh, this is what is going on, this is how this is done. YouTube is free. There are a lot of videos. Sometimes just while you spend hours on TikTok, I like spending my hours on LinkedIn because there is something new to learn at every point. I just downloaded another PDF just this afternoon and I'm still going to go through it, a guide. So please, let's also keep learning. The opportunity will come, and don't ignore the little opportunities. If I tell you that some of the opportunities I've had, they were things I never imagined that can come into place through those means. So you feel you saw an opportunity and it's looking as if the way they script it, they didn't even put one correct email, they didn't even give it a try. You don't know where those opportunities can flow from. Thank you very much.
All right, Mrs. Ayomide, what final word do you have for us, ma?
I'm trying not to repeat what Mr. Iraki has said, but um, I would say that just keep working. Eventually, you would find out that all those things you have done, the past work would actually pay off. So sometimes it looks like you are just like you're just working, and it feels like you're not making progress. But I would say that you're actually making progress. You might not just be the one, but you might not just notice it because it is you. So just keep working, keep learning, and Mr. Emmanuel already said it. You should be able to determine the niche where you want to work. Once you have that, just keep working on that part, and with time, it will definitely pay off. So I think that's what I would say, because there are a lot of data analysis. There are so many aspects to it. It was when I went for the training I actually found out that wow, the data analysis is actually wider than what I thought of. You know, because I started with the academic environment. So when I started and I started seeing a lot of coding these things, I'm like, okay, oh. So, but like I said, just be sure of not that today M and E is the one people are earning $200 in M&E and you want to M&E tomorrow. No. Just stick to that one. Even though later you can actually pick on some other complementary skills and tools, but be sure that this is what you want and you see it through. So I think that's the word of encouragement or the advice I would love to give. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sam. Please let's give them a round of applause. I hope you have been able to learn one or two things today. Please let's give our presenters a round of applause. Make it very round, not square, not rectangle, not triangle. Thank you very much. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things today. Our audience, I hope our instruction has been to bring some new insights to you. You can share some of the lessons on the WhatsApp chat so that others that are not here can be able to learn from it. Next week we are bringing in another speaker. You get more information about it before they get to the mid of the week. Thank you once again, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Temisola Oyelakin. Thank you, Mrs. Ayomide Olawoyin. It's an honor to have you on this meeting. It's a pleasure. We pray that God will open bigger doors for you this year, big doors, and I make plenty
Amen.
money. All right.
Thank
So
you very
thank you, everybody.
Amen.
Let's have a wonderful and a fruitful week ahead.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank